You're nothing but a janitor. Know your place." The words echoed through the empty electronics store as Marcus Williams stood there, mop in hand, watching tears stream down the face of the young black woman beside him. But what store manager Brad Coleman didn't know was that the man he'd just humiliated wasn't just any temporary worker. He was the CEO of the entire company, and what he'd discovered in his store was about to change everything. Earlier that morning, Marcus had arrived at the Chicago flagship location of Tech Forward, the billion-dollar electronics empire he'd built from nothing. Dressed in a janitor's uniform, baseball cap pulled low, he'd introduced himself as Mike, a temporary worker filling in for the week. His plan had been simple: understand why this particular store's employee satisfaction scores were plummeting. What he found was worse than any spreadsheet could show. The crying janitor's name was Jasmine, a 23-year-old single mother working nights to pay for her computer science degree. 3 years at the store, 3 years of perfect attendance while raising her daughter alone, 3 years of being invisible. "I'm sorry you had to see that," Jasmine whispered, wiping her eyes quickly. "Mr. Coleman doesn't like when we show emotion. Says it's unprofessional for the cleaning staff to act human." Marcus felt his jaw clench. Act human. He watched Brad Coleman strut through the store in his expensive suit, barking orders at the predominantly black and Latino service staff while laughing with the white sales team. The pattern was impossible to ignore. "Mike, Jasmine, get those bathrooms done before the district manager arrives," Brad called out without looking at them. "And Jasmine, I'm docking your pay for that emotional display. This is a workplace, not a therapy session." Marcus noticed something else: the way Brad's voice changed when addressing different employees. Warm and collegial with some, cold and dismissive with others. The others all looked like him and Jasmine. 3 hours into his shift, Marcus witnessed Brad deny Jasmine's request to leave 30 minutes early for her daughter's parent-teacher conference. The same request he'd approved for Ashley from sales just minutes before. "You people always have some excuse," Brad muttered under his breath, but loud enough for Marcus to hear. "You people." Marcus's hands tightened on the mop handle. By lunch, he'd seen enough. Brad had made 3 employees cry, all of them people of color. He'd denied every schedule accommodation request from the service staff while approving everyone from sales. He'd even told Lucia, a Latina cashier, that her accent was too strong for customer service, despite her 5 years of exemplary reviews. But the worst was yet to come. Marcus was cleaning near Brad's office when he heard the conference call. Brad was on with other store managers, and he wasn't holding back. "The diversity hire quota is killing us," Brad laughed. "Corporate sends us these people, and we have to keep them. But I've found ways around it. Make their lives miserable enough, and they leave on their own. No lawsuits, no problems." Marcus pulled out his phone and hit record. "Take my janitor, Jasmine," Brad continued. 3 years here, and I've never promoted her once. She's got a computer science degree in progress, keeps asking about our tech support positions. I tell her they're filled. Then I hire my nephew, who barely finished high school." The other managers laughed. Marcus's blood boiled. That evening, as Jasmine struggled to carry heavy boxes while Brad watched from his office, something snapped. She'd asked for help. Brad had told her that if she couldn't handle the physical demands, maybe she should find another job. "More suited to your capabilities," he'd said with a smirk. Marcus watched Jasmine's shoulders shake as she tried to lift a box that was clearly too heavy. He moved to help her, and together they carried it to storage. "Thank you," she said quietly. Nobody ever helps. Mr. Coleman says we need to prove we deserve to be here. How long have you been trying to move to tech support? Marcus asked carefully. Jasmine's eyes widened. How did you know about that? She looked around nervously. Please don't mention it to Mr. Coleman. He gets angry when I bring it up, says I should be grateful for any job at all. Marcus made a decision. Jasmine, what if I told you things were about to change? She laughed bitterly. Things don't change for people like us. My daughter asks why I'm always tired, why I cry after work sometimes. I tell her I'm working towards something better. But sometimes I wonder if I'm lying to her. The next morning, Marcus arrived early, but not in his janitor's uniform. He wore his custom Italian suit, the one from the Forbes photo shoot. He waited in the parking lot, watching as employees arrived. He saw Jasmine hurrying in, backpack full of textbooks for her lunch break studying. He saw Brad pull up in his Mercedes, license plate reading BOSSMAN. Marcus waited until the store was full. Staff meeting time. He walked through the front doors, and the assistant manager, who'd only seen him in corporate videos, nearly dropped her tablet. Mr. Williams? Sir, we weren't expecting. I know, Marcus said calmly. Please gather everyone in the main floor. Now. Brad emerged from his office, face flushed with annoyance. What's this disruption? We have customers. He stopped mid-sentence when he saw Marcus. The blood drained from his face. Mike? He stammered. But you're the janitor. I was the janitor, Marcus corrected. For 3 days. Long enough to see everything. Long enough to record your conference call about making diversity hires quit. Long enough to document every violation of company policy and federal employment law. The entire staff had gathered. Jasmine stood in the back, mouth open in shock. Jerome from maintenance, Lucia from the cash registers, all the employees Brad had tormented, they all watched in stunned silence. Effective immediately, Marcus announced, his voice carrying across the store floor. Brad Coleman is terminated. Security will escort him out momentarily. He turned to face the staff. I apologize for what you've endured. This is not what Tech Forward stands for. This is not what I built this company to be. Brad tried to speak, but Marcus cut him off. Jasmine, Marcus called out. She jumped slightly. Your application for tech support. I've reviewed it. You start Monday, with full back pay for the 3 years you should have been in that position. Tears streamed down Jasmine's face, but these were different tears. The rest of you who've been denied promotions, denied proper treatment, denied basic human dignity. HR will be here this afternoon. Every case will be reviewed. Every wrong will be made right. Security arrived to escort Brad out. As he passed, he muttered something under his breath about lawsuits and wrongful termination. Marcus smiled coldly. I have your entire conference call recorded, Brad. The one where you admitted to systematic discrimination. I'd think very carefully about your next move. The store erupted in whispers, then conversations, then something Marcus hadn't expected. Applause. Starting with Jasmine, then spreading through the entire staff. Even some customers joined in. Later that day, as Marcus was preparing to leave, Jasmine approached him. Her daughter, a bright-eyed 6-year-old, was with her. Mr. Williams, I don't know how to thank you, Jasmine said. You don't need to thank me, Marcus replied, kneeling down to the little girl's level. Your mom is a hero. She kept going when everything was against her. She's the one who deserves the thanks. The little girl looked up at her mother with such pride that Marcus felt his throat tighten. "What's your name?" he asked the child. "Maya," she said shyly. "After Maya Angelou. Mama says she was brave like we have to be." Marcus stood, his decision made. "Jasmine, I'm implementing a new program. Full childcare benefits for all employees. And that computer science degree? Tech Forward will cover the remaining tuition. No employee of mine should have to choose between education and survival." 6 months later, Marcus stood before a congressional committee on workplace discrimination. Beside him sat Jasmine, now the head of tech support for the entire Midwest region. She'd been promoted 3 times in 6 months, each one earned through the brilliance Brad had tried to suppress. "The question isn't whether discrimination happens," Marcus testified. "The question is whether we have the courage to go undercover in our own companies, to see the truth behind the reports. What happened in my Chicago store wasn't unique. It was symptomatic of a disease we've allowed to fester in corporate America." The committee room was silent. Marcus continued. "Jasmine here was told she was nothing but a janitor. Today, she's implementing AI-driven inventory systems that will save our company millions. How many Jasmines are out there? Invisible, dismissed, their potential destroyed by managers who see color before capability." After the hearing, as they walked down the Capitol steps, Jasmine turned to Marcus. "That day you helped me carry that box, I thought about quitting. I'd written my resignation letter." She pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. "I carry it with me to remember how close I came to giving up." Marcus looked at the letter, then at Jasmine. "What made you stay?" "My daughter," Jasmine said simply. "I couldn't let her see me quit. I couldn't let Brad win. And then you showed up, pretending to be Mike the janitor, and everything changed." Marcus smiled. "I wasn't pretending to be a janitor. I was pretending to be powerless. There's a difference. You were never powerless, Jasmine. You just needed someone to see it." A year later, Brad Coleman was working as a janitor himself, the only job he could find after the story went viral. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Meanwhile, Jasmine had just been featured on the cover of Black Enterprise magazine. From janitor to executive, how one woman's perseverance changed corporate America. The article detailed how her experience had led to Marcus implementing undercover assessments in all tech-forward locations, resulting in the termination of 12 discriminatory managers and the promotion of over 300 overlooked employees. But the most powerful moment came when Maya, now 7, stood before her second-grade class for Career Day. "My mom is a hero," she said proudly. "She fights bad guys with computers. And she taught me that even when people say you're nothing, you're really everything. You just have to wait for the right person to see it." Marcus, sitting in the back of that classroom as a surprise guest, wiped away a tear. He thought about his own journey, from a kid in Detroit's roughest neighborhood to a billionaire CEO. But this moment, watching Maya talk about her mother with such pride, this was his greatest achievement. That night, Marcus sent an email to all 40,000 tech-forward employees. The subject line read, "You are not invisible." The message was simple. Every janitor could be a genius. Every cashier could be a CEO. Every person who walks through our doors has a story, a struggle, and a strength that deserves recognition. From now on, we don't just see employees, we see potential. And if your manager doesn't see it, I will personally come to your store. And trust me, you'll know me when you see me. I'll be the one with the mop. The email went viral within hours. The janitor CEO started trending. Applications to Tech Forward increased by 400%. But more importantly, Employee satisfaction scores hit an all-time high. Jasmine now runs a mentorship program for young women in tech. She still keeps that resignation letter in her desk drawer, framed now with a note attached. The day I almost gave up was the day before everything changed. She tells every mentee the same thing. Sometimes heroes wear capes, sometimes they wear suits, and sometimes, just sometimes, they show up with a mop and a purpose. Brad Coleman requested a job reference from Marcus last month. Marcus sent him a mop with a note. Start here. Work your way up. And this time, see everyone. The revolution at Tech Forward didn't happen in a boardroom. It happened in a janitor's closet, where a CEO remembered what it felt like to be invisible, and a young mother refused to let her light be dimmed. The question now isn't what would you do if you were in Marcus's position. The question is, who in your workplace is invisible? Who's crying in the break room? Who's being told they're nothing when they could be everything? Because every Brad Coleman thinks he's untouchable, until the day the janitor turns out to be the CEO, and every Jasmine thinks she's invisible, until the day someone finally sees her. The real question is, which one will you be? The one who sees, or the one who looks away? Comment below with your own story of workplace injustice. Subscribe for more stories of underdogs who became overlords. Remember, sometimes the person mopping your floor is mapping your future. You just don't know it yet.